competitive advantage for your business with presenter Gerry Finn. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone will be in listen-only mode, so if you have questions, please type them into the box on screen, and we will address them at the end of the session. This webinar will be recorded, and we will email out a copy to everyone within a few days. I will now turn it over to you, Gerry.
Hi, this is Gerry Finn. Can you hear me fine, Krista?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for everybody attending. Hopefully everybody sees the screen. This is our usually Accordant Lunch and Learn series. And today we're going to talk about not a specific software solution, but a little bit about IT in general and how to utilize your IT to create a competitive advantage for your business. There's a lot said in that title, but we're going to go through it as far as a presentation that I put together. And if I can get my screen to go to the next page. There it goes. My agenda is we're going to talk a little bit about myself just very quickly. We're going to talk about IT, what a competitive advantage is, what is truly a customer to IT, what do we find, how do you find a competitive advantage, how do you get budget approval for it, how do you do the implementation, and then some questions on the end. Just a quick synopsis of my background. I'm the Director of Technology Services at Accordant. I have 30 years of IT experience. I have a bachelor's in business administration, which is a little bit different than a lot of IT people. So I've done programming from applications for 30 years as far as writing job cost applications all the way up from design to implementation. And I've worked for companies that were as large as 2,200 employees. I have experience in construction, professional services, nonprofits, wholesale distribution, service industry, engineering, manufacturing. And I've been working with Sage 300 since 2008. So what is IT? The traditional definition of IT is the Informational Technology Department. Even if you do not have an official IT department, usually someone in your office has assimilated into a power user which performs IT functions. Those functions could be in-house Sage 300 expert. It could be the person that walks around in the office and, hey, I have a printer jam. Can you help me with this printer jam? I need assistance with Excel. It's usually a power-up user in an office if you don't have an official IT department. IT is a service that is always considered an overhead expense to your organization. Organizations don't look at IT as an expense that they prefer to spend on. They look at it as a necessary evil, unfortunately. So our job in being IT is to prove that we're a valuable asset to the company. So it's just not the cool company department that says, hey, we have computers. The customers, I'm going to say system users, kind of to switch the term back and forth. They don't care what kind of servers we have, what size processor, how much memory is in our machine. They just want the stuff to work and give them the ability to do their job. They look at it as a productivity tool, just like a construction manager would look at a truck or backhoe, or a service technician would look at tools. You must change the thinking of why the IT department is there. It's to provide services to your customers, both internal and external. What is a competitive advantage? A lot of these ideas are simple when you look at them, but until you actually think about them, it makes you rethink your business processes. So any item that improves your business process will give you a competitive advantage. That could be as simple as having a custom report designed and written, to researching and coordinating the installation of a multi-function copy machine that copies, prints, scans, and possibly even faxes. I mean, a simple thing like that. Eliminate a fax machine, teach people how to scan and email. Improves productivity of everybody in the office and gets you out of the habit of standing by the fax machine. Fax jams, you got to buy a toner cartridge, those type of things. Purchase a PDF writer, and these are examples, just to be able to generate PDF documents from Word, Excel, or email. Most people just have PDF reader. They don't have a generator. So you need to buy a full version of Adobe to do that, which I think is about $100. It's money well spent. So you can take a Word document, generate it into a PDF, and send it to somebody. Other ideas of competitive advantages. Field automation. If you're a service company and you want to look at one of the biggest return of investments is providing automation to your field technicians. Not only does it improve your technicians' functionality as far as dispatching calls to them, it improves your internal employees, customers, dispatchers, invoicing staff, and your customers who you are providing a service for. Some other ideas that companies have really used to get a competitive advantage: GPS tracking, so they know where all their field technicians and trucks are. Data mining. Data mining would be being able to find data that's in your system that's not easily available. And Sage has tools that are productive like that, such as My Assistant. People that have just used My Assistant love it. They set My Assistant up, have it go through and run reports, whatever the business rules are, and send them out on a scheduler. For example, I have one customer that I work with that says every Monday send out a list of all new jobs that got created that week. Those new jobs then are reviewed by the owner of the company or the controller to make sure, hey, did we get the estimate set up for this job? Do we have a contract signed? Do we have the correct insurance certificates on it? Are we using the correct vendors? That type of things, which normally in a company you set up a job and nobody knows about it. You start, next thing you know, you've been working there for 3 weeks and you don't have all the proper paperwork done. Customer portals, to give the customers the ability to see things in your system. This could be as simple as that you could use a website, but also you can have menu options. If you have remote access to your Sage, you can set up your Sage 300 system with your customer having a login ID, create special menus for that customer, and say they manage your inventory. Have an inventory report up on the system that they can go in and see your inventory that you have in stock to know what's available to them as being a customer. There are other customer portals, and you would want to limit those to what the customer can see. But any item that improves your customer service will give you a competitive advantage. Now, I've used the term customer back and forth as far as usually everybody thinks customer is who you're doing work for. But when you're in the IT department, you have internal customers and external customers. Your internal customers is your operations people, biggest internal customer that you have. Field technicians, who's out in the field. Your accounting department, executives, business owners. Your IT department needs to look at those people as customers. They're there to service them. And they should also look at external customers, which would be actual customers that you provide a direct service for your company. Whatever your services that you sell, you build staircases, it's the person that would buy the staircase. Other examples of external customers that most IT departments don't even think of is vendors. Can we do electronic invoicing with vendors? Banks, can we do online reconciliations, download check registers automatically to fill up our bank reconciliation process? Items of that nature. That's what a customer is, in my opinion. Now, how to find out items that give your organization a competitive advantage. This is pretty interesting for an IT person. It's really to get involved with the business meetings at your organization. Sometimes they're hard to break into those, but if it's a board meeting, weekly production meeting, you want to get involved. You got to be in those meetings and not just sit in your office making sure that the computers are running properly. You want to get in those meetings, find out how the systems users are using systems, but really what business issues are. They're not always computer related, but some of them are. It's business issues, what their pains are, any solutions you can come up with, provide a competitive advantage, any solution. Another way to find competitive advantages is to send questionnaires to your internal customers. Internal customers, you ask them to rate the IT department. Now, you got to have thick skin when you send out a questionnaire because you're going to get criticism back. Most IT companies, the IT people walk around like the weight of the world is on their shoulders, and all the minor issues that a user has is not their priority for the day. Their priority is whatever their project is working on. They need to realize that their priority is whatever their customers need. So ask them for constructive criticism. Ask for suggested areas of improvements. Go meet with an external customer. Take an external customer to lunch, the customer that you're actually providing a service for. Ask what your company can do right, what it does right, and what it does wrong. Tough questions to ask sometimes and hear the feedback, but it wakes you up to what products or services we can provide to make us a better customer, a better service provider. Now, every company, whether they realize it or not, is a service provider. They need to provide service to a customer who's going to pay the bills. Other ways is you review your existing business processes. Just go through them. How do we enter an accounts payable invoice? Who approves that accounts payable invoice? Does it go through project managers? Does it go to job supers? Does it go to employees in the field? And there are ways to automate that through products we have, like TimberScan is one of them. We have another product called Paperless, which is a paperless environment. There's multiple ways to take a process like that and automate it. But general, just look for waste. Any waste that you see in your company, look for it, see if there's a way that you can improve it, and then get the help that you need to get that done. Another type of benefit to look for it is to attend. A way to find competitive advantages is to attend specific industry trade shows. So if you're building convenience stores for 7-Eleven, and that's one of your customers, go to a convenience store convention and look at what their customers are looking for. And that you get specific what your customer needs. It may give you a product that you want to sell to them or a service that your customer sees. Read specific industry publications. Now, if I read every magazine that I get in the mail from being in an IT department, you would never get anything done. But if you look at every one of those magazines that's specifically industry related, especially the IT ones, there's always an executive summary section. Excuse me. So you can go through the executive summary, look at the bullets of the articles that you find interesting, if there are any, and if the ones that you find interesting, you go to that and you just read that one, and then ditch the magazine and get rid of it. I would not suggest spending 2 hours reading any industry magazine unless it's an article that really pertains to you. Attend your user conferences for the systems that you use. Like Accordant, we have a user conference every year that's coming up in May in Atlantic City, and it's a great thing to go to because you will see Sage products. You will see Sage vendors that are third-party products. You will talk to other users that are using a system. You discuss about their successes and their pains, and you learn from that. Okay. Getting budget approvals for competitive advantages. Most companies, no matter what you're going to do as far as a project, you have to get a return on investment. You have to prove that it's going to make sense from a business standpoint, that you're going to return the dollars to the bottom line by investing in this solution, whatever it is. So the easiest things to look at as far as a return on investment is labor production. Anything that you can do to reduce labor reduction is the easiest thing to put hard dollars on. You take your employee salary, you multiply it, say, by 40% overhead, and then you say it's going to save 10 hours a week. Boom, it gives you a number of X. You figure out how much this investment is going to cost you, divide it by the number of months, and if you can pay off a significant investment within a 2-year process, you're going to generate, within 2 years, you're really going to generate income that's going to and reduce expenses that returns right to the bottom line of the company. Even simple things like paper waste, custom printed forms, printed checks. You know, with the Sage system, there's add-ins called Purical Create a Check. Anybody that has a property management company is probably using it already because every building that they own has multiple bank accounts, and they have blank laser checks that Purical will print out checks on the fly with the proper banking information on it and with all your logos from a blank check stock. You need to set up a new bank account for whatever reason. It takes you about 5 minutes to set up a new bank account in Sage with the cash balances and with the account and cash management. And then you go set up the account in Purical with the routing numbers, and boom, you have new checks that are ready to go. Discuss with marketing sales. This is a big one. You have marketing and sales departments that will do anything to give their self an advantage to sell to more customers. So if you can get the buy-in of marketing saying that, hey, my customers, vendors, or my competition need this, my vendors, other vendors are providing this, we don't provide it, that gives you a competitive advantage just to catch up or go ahead. And really, we want to go ahead to have a true competitive advantage, but sometimes you have to just catch up to where your competition is. How do you implement those improvements? Or if you have a list of improvements. First off, you have to prioritize your improvements. Now, a lot of people that are going to be on this call may not necessarily be in the IT department. They're their in-house super user. So if they're looking for items to prove their worth to the company and start small, pick some quick items that quickly show improvement, like buying a PDF generator like we was talking about before. Show people how to use email with PDF attachments and get away from fax machines. Something like that is relatively quickly to improve. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it opens eyes up to your supervisors or the people that approve those projects. By getting the smaller ones done, showing some improvements, then it makes it easier to tackle the more complicated projects after you show the benefit of the quick ones. Then if you get a whole list of suggestions for improvements, you got to create a parking project list, a parking lot, just like you would in a meeting to effectively run a meeting. If you have the subjects that you want to talk about and get through the agenda, and then items come off and they get off tangent, you put them on a parking lot. The same thing with your project list. You got to look at the projects that are quick to implement, provide the most amount of return on investment, or you can get them done. Excuse me for a second. Okay, another way to get those product improvements implemented is you got to find a champion in the company, somebody that's really going to support it. If it just comes from one person saying this is what we got to do, and it's a project that we have to do that's going to return dollars to the bottom line, it's going to be tough to sell to the people that need to do it. So if you were going to do like field automation with a service company that has technicians in the field, you need behind you, you need the main dispatcher, the main service operations manager, and you need at least one technician to be your techno guru who's going to prove that the system works. So you get 2 or 3 champions involved with it that are going to drive it, and it'll build interest in the rest of the company to say, hey, this is a great improvement idea. We got to jump on board with that. Big benefit to doing that. Larger projects, build a team. Don't just try and do it yourself. Build a team if necessary to complete the task and support the improvement. So break up the task, give them 2 assignments to people that are involved, and then get other people involved that go down levels. They can use their supervisors who can go down and use their employees to get the task assigned and completed. Just like building a building. You break it down to the simplest little step. Eventually it gets down to the guy with a shovel in his hand, but it started with an engineer or an architect with an idea to build it in the building. Get as many people involved with it as you can from different levels. Okay. Excuse me. Find solutions that are provided from one vendor. Whenever you looking for an IT solution, you prefer to get a solution that's available from one vendor. You want to avoid piecing together third-party vendors unless there is no other solution option. Whenever you have third-party vendors involved, so say you're using Sage 300 software and you have another product, I'm just going to say some sort of payroll interface program that allows you to interface with ADP. Every time there's a payroll change in Sage, you have to worry about the integration with your payroll ADP service going over and make sure the information goes across and comes back correctly. Like this year with the Obamacare, you have to prove where insurance companies, what insurance your employees had, the hours that they worked on a monthly basis, and then you'd have to worry about that interface going from your Sage software over to ADP and then coming back. It can be a complicated thing to stay on top of. You'd much rather have a solution that is one provider that has all that back office mechanics and tools already written. Use consultants as necessary. Now that sounds funny coming from Accordant because obviously that's what we are. But your job is to implement the improvements, not necessarily to perform it and get it, do it. The responsibility when you're in a company in the IT is that you're responsible for getting it done. That doesn't always mean that you're responsible for doing it. So you can't be afraid to get the approval to use consultants. Specialty consultants will always provide the service. I shouldn't say always. Will normally provide consultant better, quicker, and usually cheaper than you're going to be able to do it yourself because they're going to get it done on a quicker basis because that's all they're focusing on. So if you have something that really is going to give you a big return on investment, instead of having that project go out for 6 months to get it done, you involve a consultant, you can get to that point in 2 to 3 weeks. The return on investment, you got all the rest of the 6 months to make that money back. So they perform those tasks more often than you do, if not every day. So like such as a server migration or a version upgrade of Sage. If you have a IT consultant that comes in and says that I can figure it out and I can get it done, it's not what you want to do. You want to use the proper consultant with that experience, not an IT consultant who says that they can figure it out. Now, when you're involved with consultants, you want to monitor them to prevent budget overruns. Because, again, what we're trying to do is give ourselves a competitive advantage and return dollars to the bottom line. So you have to manage your consultants and not just let them go off on their own and just keep running the budget up. You've got to give them deadlines, tasks, know when they're going to be done, and follow that. Some closing comments. IT is a service department to your organization's customers, both internal and external. Make your customers appreciate IT as a group that can improve their job functions. That's not easy to do, but you have to get a turnaround of the IT department. Most companies, when you talk to the employees who do not work in IT, they don't think very highly of the IT people because those are the grumpy people that are locked up in the back room and they have to go talk to them when they have a problem, that type of thing. You want to get past that stereotype. Look for areas to improve wherever you can find them. And once you find them, act upon those areas that you discover and get them implemented and completed. Follow up with the users after an implementation to verify that they're using the full functionality of the improvements always. So if we used our PDF generator example, and you teach people how to generate PDFs from Word and be able to email on it, even if they say, yeah, I got it, you want to check back with them in 2 weeks and make sure that they have it and they really understand what is the process and how it's supposed to make their jobs easier. That's pretty much it. A summary. I know it may not have been as specific as you would like, but it's really an overview of how you, in IT, to make it function, to make it look for those advantages, to be a service for your company. So I guess at this point, Krista, if you have any questions.
None so far. If you have a question, please type it into the questions box on the screen. We'll be happy to answer it for you.
So there's got to be some questions out there that maybe people haven't had a chance to type in yet.
Yeah, we'll just give it a minute.
Does anybody have any specific application questions as far as SAGE or the Accordant services or the case Accordant user conference coming up? Sounds like it's pretty quiet.
Nothing yet. Well, if you think a question you have later, you can feel free to email us. We'll be happy to get back to you. All right, I'm not seeing anything coming through, so we want to thank everyone again for attending today's Lunch and Learn session. We will email out the recording of the presentation to everyone. If you do have questions, please feel free to contact us at any time via phone or email. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Gerry.
Thank you for attending.